Vice President of the United States was in Austin today to visit advocates who serve the country. The National Domestic Violence Hotline call center was created to help victims of abuse. But that center has struggled to keep up with funding needs. KXAN's Chris Sadeghi is live in West Austin with more on Mr. Biden's visit.
Hey, Robert, this call center takes calls from around the country from victims of domestic violence. And as the vice president mentioned in his remarks, sometimes the only voice that those victims have to reach out to is a voice from the advocates here in Austin, Texas. Joe Biden helped create the hotline with the Violence Against Women Act in 1994, and 3 million calls have been placed since then. But he said nearly 50,000 calls a year are dropped, and sequester cuts have made it even more difficult for the hotline to help everybody. In his remarks that lasted about 30 minutes, he talked about how important it is to help these victims and also fund this hotline, because for every call that goes unanswered, a victim returns to a violent situation of abuse.
There's a critical moment. There's that one moment when the woman decides, I'm going to move. I'm going to act. And in many cases, if it's missed, it's missed. And God knows what she had to go back to.
And one of the announcements made was that Verizon is stepping up to donate $250,000 to the hotline, mostly to help start up a online chat service and also a digital text service, because sometimes the victim isn't always able to use a telephone. Also, an interesting note, Texas ranks second in the country for the amount of calls, making up nearly 12%, ranking only behind California. We're live in West Austin. Chris Sadeghi, KXAN News.
Looking in depth now, the Domestic Violence Hotline based in Austin has more than 100 staff members. The workers handle about 22,000 calls every month, but they say the demand is so high they just can't take all of those phone calls. The hotline also has a website. The traffic there is up 30% over the past 12 months.